Great. So now I want to talk about qualified immunity.
Yeah.
So qualified immunity has been a detriment to police accountability and is one of the core components on how policing in communities of color has been breached. Please explain your position on how qualified immunity will be implemented and monitored under your administration.
Yeah. So let me start by saying I fully support the changes that are really clear. If an officer violates someone's constitutional rights, violates the law, not only should they have personal liability, not have immunity, but they should be criminally charged. And I've been very consistent. There's a very narrow issue here that is a level of detail that probably most people are not paying attention to, and attorneys disagree. You'll be shocked to hear attorneys disagree. And this is the issue, is sometimes a city will settle a lawsuit for something that the officer didn't do anything wrong. And the law says when the city settles a suit, the officer can be held to a percentage of that settlement personally. And my concern is when the city's settling because we had a bad policy and the officer was following a policy we told them to follow, I think the city has to take responsibility for that and the officer should be protected. And it's a unique, and I'll give you an example. When I was chief of staff, we had a high-speed chase policy that officers would do high-speed chases through the city. And often the reason that policy was changed is it could result in an accident, like the car you're chasing running into innocent, other vehicles and causing injury. And that was a policy we trained our officers in. We told them this is the way to do it. Probably even might have disciplined them if they didn't follow the policy. Yet we were settling those cases until we changed our policy and said stop chasing. That would be an example where I just think our officers should not be personally liable. That's it, financially. That's the distinction. And because some attorneys say they think they are, some say they're protected, I'm just raising the point to say there's a uniqueness in there that I'm not missing, and I would defend our officers to not be personally liable in that case.
So what I'm hearing you say is that one, if there's a policy that is curating an opportunity for the officer or for the impacted person to be harmed or hurt or whatnot, if the officer is following that policy and the city settles, the officer is not, because they were following the policy.
They should not be personally liable.
Gotcha.
That's all I'm saying.
So then policies then would have to be something that is like officers can leverage to say, hey, in order for me to serve and protect, these policies need to reflect serving and protecting.
Yeah.
So that way, if an officer does fall out of this space of you shot someone unarmed or
you shot into a crowd
right
and hit 5 innocent bystanders, that's outside of policy.
Yep.
That grand jury got it right.
Yep. And then officers are held in account
Yep.
if they fall out. So it's policy as well as that secondary piece of, hey, if you fall out of policy, now you are responsible.
Yes.
Because, okay,
Yes.
That makes sense. So on the same topic, will you take any efforts to repeal the current legislative changes that were made to Colorado's laws around qualified immunity, and then why or why not?
No, I mean, I'm not suggesting changes to the law. I don't know. I think this would be worth having attorneys talk through. Are we clear about this distinction that we just described? Do we think the law has to be changed? Do we think we're in more? I think I'd like to see some resolution where we agree that officers would not be personally liable in that. I don't know if that needs a law change or if we can clarify it in our policies. That part I don't know.
Gotcha.
But I'm not looking for a change in the law because I think we're clear about when you cross that line of violating someone's constitutional rights or violating a law, you're in trouble and there's no immunity.
Gotcha.